Whether you're a curious noob or a seasoned veteran, horror video games are all the rage at the moment. Sure, your preferred taste of game may be high octane, stealthy, RPG or puzzle based, but you'd have to be living under a rock to not know about Outlast 2. Successor to Outlast 1, obviously. This game sees you and your wife stranded in the middle of nowhere following a helicopter crash. You intend to report on the murder of a pregnant woman in the area, but unintentionally find yourself thrust into the middle of an end of days experience. Whether you're a potential buyer of the game, or you have it and find yourself smashing your keyboard in frustration, this is the video for you. Hi guys, it's Ed Fire, and here are my 5 tips to help you survive Outlast 2. By the way, there are no plot spoilers, but this video does use actual gameplay. No hating, please. Number 1. Know your exits. Just as in real life, you never know when that next fire is going to break out, so knowing the nearest available exit can make the difference between life and death. Outlast 2 is no exception, and whilst not a real fire, the figurative fire usually means being chased by hillbillies wielding large machetes. Sometimes you're boxed into an area or a corridor, so your exits are more like barrels, doors with locks, or beds to hide under. Regardless, when the pace is slow, pay attention to the little white text. You can hide in here, or in here, or in here. Don't forget, your pursuers aren't entirely stupid, so if you choose to hide in front of them, they'll know where you've gone. As a bonus tip for you, avoid hiding in water barrels. Sure, they'll hide you for a bit, but you can't see or hear inside them, meaning you won't know when it's safe to get moving again. And besides, stay in one long enough and you'll be sleeping with the fishes. Number 2. Keep away from everyone. You'd like to think that a local community would rally around 2 injured and stranded tourists, but given what they did to the helicopter pilot, spoilers, it's best not to assume that they're on your side. Unless they're tied to a cross or buried in the ground, that hillbilly stood chanting biblical type lines at you is probably a threat. Yes, we already know this community is going through tough times to say the least, but know that the friskier of the cult will hunt you down and turn you into live sushi before you can say, "Ah, Tamagotchi!" Even the seemingly sedate or sick ones will whip out a knife and give you what for, so don't get too close. This is a hide and seek horror game, remember, so no matter how many times you sprint at someone, furiously clicking your left mouse button, your camera isn't going to turn into a baseball bat to smash their heads in with. Keep well away. Number 3. Use batteries wisely. This is a hide and seek horror game, okay? So you won't be surprised to know that the only equipment you have is a measly video camera. It's hardly a weapon, adding to the sense of dread and terror. But despite being unable to smash people across the head with it, the camera is pretty damn useful, especially given the lack of street lights and general electricity in this town. The camera allows you to record key story points and notes, hear through walls or from distances, and helps you to see in the dark with the infrared setting. However, both the microphone and the infrared use up batteries, and these must be own brand batteries seriously, because they literally last for minutes at a time. Given how sparse they are, you'll want to use both sparingly. Turn off the microphone and infrared when you don't need them, and get used to travelling in the dark. This becomes especially important when you brave the harder difficulty modes. As a bonus tip, if you do find yourself up Sugar Creek without a battery, kill yourself and you'll come back to life with a full one installed. How appropriate. Number 4. Heal and sprint only when needed. Aside from the familiar battery pickups, Outlast 2 has introduced a secondary item, bandages, giving you the choice to heal as you go along on this merry journey. Your character takes damage from falling, walking into barbed wire, and being attacked, and the more hurt you are, the slower you move. Just like with batteries, bandages are in short supply, with your pocket only being large enough to carry 3. When the going is slow, sluggishly meandering through the countryside, battered and bloody, makes no difference. But once a chase breaks out, you'll be glad of that extra pace. Heal yourself as the intensity cranks up, and you'll instantly notice a boost in your run rate. Be careful not to sprint everywhere though. This asthmatic protagonist will give up the ghost pretty quickly, giving your pursuers the chance they need to catch up and teach you a well-deserved lesson. Number 5. This game is linear. Okay, Outlast 2 isn't an open world game, thank God, but it's been lovingly crafted to flow like a story. Yes, the story's intention may well be to evoke vomit-inducing disgust and terror, but it's a story nonetheless. Stories are linear, and they move in one direction, forward. Just like a novel, the game's authors want you to move forwards and progress the gameplay, pushing you into the next important event. Getting to the next chapter isn't quite as simple as being on rails, but the developers are constantly trying to nudge you in the right direction, so it may be simpler than you think. Sure, there are a few maps designed to freak you out, trip you up, and kill you more than a few times, but even those are easily traversed in order to find the correct route. Stop, take a breath, and if in doubt, move forwards, looking for open doors, lit areas, and blood smears, and also be prepared to climb or crawl your way to the next area. Well guys, those are my tips, but what are your tips for surviving Outlast 2? Did I miss anything important? Let me know in the comments below and we can swap and share ideas. Give this video a like if you liked it, subscribe if you would like to see more content from me, and take a little look at my full play playlist of Outlast 2 if you're still not brave enough to take the plunge yourself.